on to film three. I don't know how I'm gonna go. I'm a little bit, but we got to forge through. Talking about these cult cinema moments that are always there for us to kind of transport us into the world of movies in a way that mainstream cinema just really can't do in many ways. So, as I say, this is film three, and I am Darren Aronofsky's masterpiece, perhaps, probably, Requiem for a Dream, released in the year 2000, 97 minutes. Um, and well, what can I say? I mean, I kind of been following Aronofsky's career from the beginning. He came out running with Pi, which is an amazing black and white film from I believe 1998 with an Aphex Twin soundtrack, and just really intense. And he followed it up, as I say, in 2000 with Requiem for a Dream, which is based on the Hubert Selby Jr. novel of the same name. Um, Hubert Selby Jr.'s kind of fallen away in some ways. I guess he passed away in the early 2000s. He had a book which was turned into a film called Last Exit to Brooklyn. I think I tried to watch it. I didn't really get into it, but as I say, that's the author that this was based on, and he actually helped adapt the screenplay for the film. Um, Now, this I guess falls into that kind of hyper stylized art house cinema of the late 90s, films like Trainspotting and Run Lola Run, I guess. Um, a harrowing soundtrack by the Kronos Quartet. You might almost also say something like Dancer in the Dark as well. Um, and it's just it's such a stylish film, Um, in many ways, I was thinking while I was watching it, it may have well been an influence on the style of Breaking Bad, maybe. Um, Obviously, you know, this is a touchstone film, so it's difficult for it not to have some influence over things that came afterwards. Um, but I mean, this it's just the style, split screens, surrealism, um, the way it tells multiple stories and just kind of cuts between each perspective, um, and all these kind of vignettes, the way it uh, visually describes the act of getting high is really interesting. And I guess the way it's kind of divided into summer, fall, winter, and I don't know if it gets to spring, but yeah, it's really a great film. It took me a little while to get back into it, to be honest. I wasn't quite thinking on my feet at the time, and I kind of lost interest and had to have a big sleep. So, came back at it, and well, I guess we've got to talk about some of the performances and the actors. Who's this? Who you been talking to? Myself. To you, buddy. I think this is someone else. I don't know if these are Japanese bots. I don't know what it is. Um, anyway, so the leading cast is Ellen Burstyn as the mother Sarah Goldfarb, and I think she got an Oscar nomination on Golden Globe for it because it is just an absolute beast of a performance. It really comes at you. And then Jared Leto as Harry Goldfarb, her son. Um, Again, really just it's these performances are on point. And then Jennifer Connelly as his partner, Marion Silver, and that performance is just heartbreaking, to be honest. And then finally, Marlon Wayans, I believe, as Harry's best friend and co-conspirator, Tyrone C. Love, and he's great in it as well. Supporting cast, including Christopher McDonald as this kind of evil. I don't know if he's evil, but just a television presenter, and then the brilliant Keith David as like this horrible dude, this horrible kind of pimpy drug dealer type of guy who just yeah, no, it's all in all, Requiem for a Dream is really one of those cinematic experiences that if you see it, it if you can deal with the themes and the explicit nature of stuff, it'll stick with you. Um, and there's just moments. It's like those kinds of films where like you may not remember every single thing, but there are just those moments in it that just haunt you, I guess. Um, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about the story, and here's where the spoilers come in. So basically, as I say, this is well, I don't know if I said it, but this is a film um, a, basically about a year in the life of four people who are trying their best to get ahead, but it just all falls apart. Um, it starts out showing the kind of repetition of addictive behavior. The son Harry stealing his mother's television again, just to score on things. Then she gets a call from a television station saying that she's going to be on a program. She wants to lose weight to get into to a beautiful red dress. Um, and then Harry and his mate Tyrone are trying to get ahead in the drug game as two kind of two-bit junkies trying to make. Um, Thank you too, my friend. God bless you also. I appreciate your epithets. And, well, I am just talking to myself, but I'm talking about cinema. I try and make some content every now and again, but I'll keep on talking about this film. So basically, yeah, it's four stories. Um, I guess I'll go through each story linearly, and then instead of trying to tell the whole film end to end, I guess. So basically, the mother Sarah's story is she thinks she's going to go on a TV program. She tries to lose weight by dieting, but then her friend says he has a doctor who'll give her diet pills. And it starts working for a while, loses 25 pounds, which is roughly like 10 kilograms, 10, 12 kilograms. But then, of course, the medication stops working. Her son warns her that, she's grinding her teeth and looking haggard and things and overstimulated and whatnot. And, as speed has a want to do, it slowly stops working as effectively. So she keeps on taking more and more and more. Um, and then pretty much loses her mind. There's these amazing scenes of hallucinatory moments in her home. The kitchens haunting her. The people come out of the television programs and stuff, and she ends up going to the television station and asking what is going on. and they end up taking to the police because she's basically lost the plot. In the end, she gets given ECT. Um, Her hair is cut. Her friends come to visit and see her, and one of the last scenes is them sitting on a bench out the front weeping. So that's Sarah's story. Um, Harry is a junkie with a girlfriend. As I say, he tries to get ahead by slinging dope, looking for the big score. Um, I guess mixed in with Harry's story is kind of mixed in with Tyrone's. So basically, they're doing well. Um, Tyrone's brought in to have a meeting with his gang, with his dealer gang, and they basically get assassinated. There's like a drug war between the mafia and the gangbangers. I don't know what the right word for is. Anyway, that goes south, and as I say, they're both trying to get ahead, and then they find out there's a big score going out at the back of a supermarket, and they're about to sort themselves out, but then a junkie fires a gun, and it gets closed down. They're like, "What the hell are we gonna do?" Um, so they end up trying to drive to Florida. By this point, Harry's got a set like a terrible, horrible sepsis in his arm. Um, and basically they end up having to go to the hospital, and they both end up in jail. Harry ends up losing his arm, and Tyrone ends up in prison, fiending for a score, and that's how their kind of stories end. And then Marion, sweet Marion, um, basically, her story is kind of like, um, coming from a privileged family who've kind of cut her off. She's got like a filthy psychologist who um, has obviously, what's the word? Um, Gone beyond client patient relationship. Um, and she's a classic dope fiend. And as a person who's dealt with substance issues, like it really is an amazing portrayal of what people go through when they're fiending for drugs. And basically, in the end, she ends up becoming, she ends up um, doing sexual acts for money, debasing herself, and yeah, that's the film ends with her coming home after like a sexual act performance. I guess it is a performance, but her just kind of taking the money out of her pocket and hugging herself. So um, that's basically the story, and maybe I haven't done it justice, but as I say, like the soundtrack is amazing. Its use of like sound design is great, and uh, kind of like dream or fantasy sequences showing the internal worlds of these people is amazing. Um, and just it's just heartbreaking, really. I mean, it's one of those films, as I say, that will stick with you for a long time if you're up for watching it. Um, is there much else to say? I mean, um, it's just a really harrowing experience. And can I just talk a little bit about Aronofsky? I guess um, I came in to seeing The Whale with great expectations, having been a fan of this film and The Wrestler, and Mother. And then it just there was none of the style. There was none of the there- maybe I need to watch it again, but to be honest, it just didn't have that Aronofsky magic that I was hoping for, and I was really let down by the whale. To be honest, you know, um, I guess there was that emotional. I don't want to say manipulation, but emotionally involving style to it, but it just it wasn't for me, dog. Yeah, not like this film Requiem for a Dream. Um, Again, you won't want to watch it that many times, depending on what sort of personality you are, just because it is really just it is a Debbie Downer. Let's put it like that. It's not a feel good film. It's a is it a feel bad film? I don't know how if I'd go so far as to say it's feel bad, but you know, it's certainly not a film you put on unless you're like, oh my god, unless you're going for like a Schadenfreude, at least my life isn't that bad type of perspective on it, because well, your life's not that bad compared to the sad, horrible outcomes that befall these beautiful, wonderful people in this film. Um, and I guess, it's like, it's almost like the anti-train spotting in some ways. Um, Even though it does stylize drug use to some extent. As I say, it's got these very visually arresting sequences showing them doing things, blotting, getting high, using diet pills, all these kinds of things. Um, It is. I mean, yeah, it is a very stylish film, even now. Um, well, I don't know what else to say. It really is. It is definitely a cult film. It's definitely a film that should be continued to be enjoyed through the ages. Although sadly my DVD copies got a little bit janky, and at the end it kind of crapped out a little bit, but I got to the very end. Um, and well, I guess it is a bit of a morality tale. Um, that you might not always get what you want, but you always get what you deserve. Perhaps. Um, Maybe not. But as I say, it is a harrowing description of substance abuse, as well as the state of society at the end of the 20th century, I guess, as well. Um, all kind of television addiction, drug addiction, love addiction, um, and the way uh, people try to get ahead um, while still living nefarious lives, uh, corrupted, um, compromised realities, at least in this case, it never works out in the end. You always end up, you know, you end up either given shock therapy or having your arm cut off, or locked up in Florida prison, or banging for hits. So anyway, this is going to be a quick 20. Um, there's been a few people viewing. As I say, I'm gonna talk about cult films for all of this year. Coming up next, I think I'm gonna watch a Godard film, Perot Le Fou. I don't know if that counts as a cult film. I haven't watched it yet. I'll certainly tell you all about it when I've watched it. So, this has been 52 weeks of cult cinema talking about Requiem for a Dream. And I'm living a dream for a dream. So, thank you kindly. And I'll talk to you when you look at you. And as I say, if you get angry, you're doing it wrong. Peace to the lovers. Thank you. Ciao.